Welcome back to episode 4 of our Hunting Around the World. Today we are talking about hunting in New Zealand. New Zealand offers us very nice hunting opportunities, especially on red stag. And as you can see here, the specialty on red stag in New Zealand is that they have a lot of points compared to most of the other regions in the world. But beside red stag, New Zealand also offers very good fallow deer hunting. It offers chamois hunting, and it also offers the unique opportunity to hunt tahr, which is originally from the Himalaya, but was introduced in New Zealand many years ago. And now it's really a stable population so that we are able to hunt them in New Zealand. So for the accommodation in New Zealand, in general, you're in hunting lodges or hunting houses, as we can see here. If you're hunting on like red stag and in the lower areas, if you're then going on the mountain huntings, some of the areas you really can only reach via helicopter, and then you will hunt like here in the tents, so that you will be dropped on top of the mountain with a helicopter, and then you have your food, your tents and so on with you, and then you and your PH will be hunting from the top of the mountain to look for the chamois and also for the tahr. This is also something which is then a little bit more physical hunt, because especially for the mountain hunts like tahr and chamois, you really need to go up and down the mountains quite a lot. For the hunting, we use normally pickup vehicles or also these all-wheel drive like these quads, as long as we are in the areas where you still can drive. If it then comes to the really high mountain hunting like on chamois and tahr, it's really just hunting by foot. So you really have to walk quite a lot to really climb up the mountains. So this is now an impression from an area where we were hunting in tahr. It's in the southern part of New Zealand, so on the South Island. And as you can see here, we have some flat areas, but the majority is really mountains, and they're so, yeah, that the angle is really high, so that here you cannot really drive anymore, but it's really like climbing up the mountain, sometimes on hand and feet to really go up, because it's very hard to go there. But this is really a perfect area for hunting, especially on tahr. So as you can see here on the mountain on the other side, normally in these small valleys, or also where you see these bushes and these trees, that's where you can find them. And you see it normally from the bottom. When you look with your glasses, you can find the groups of tahr, and then you make a plan how you can get there. And then it's really like walking up the mountain, coming closer to the tahrs, and then when you've reached them, then you can do your shot. So, and this is the typical, yeah, what we will do for the mountain hunting in New Zealand. Really, as you can see here, it's very high mountains which we now climb up, and there's sometimes very low, sometimes quite good bushes and cover what we can use to really hide before the tahrs. And then if you're lucky and you really reach the tahrs and you came to shooting distance, then you can shoot your tahr. And as you can see here, this colleague has got a quite nice tahr from the area south of Wanaka Mountains. Yeah, the other opportunity what we are here is for red stag. Red stag is not so much in the super high mountains, but it's still in a mountain hilly area, as you can see here. Here you have a little bit more vegetation, more trees and bushes, which you can see here, but also open areas. What we normally do is you drive to a specific spot, and then you just sit and wait and look on the other side of the mountains to see if the game is moving. Normally you will see quite a lot of like fallow deer or also red deer, female moving around, but the red stags and also the fallow deers, most of the time the male ones are really hiding in the bushes, as you can see here. So it's not enough to just drive by 1 minute, look and go on, but sometimes you really need to sit for half an hour or 1 hour to really glass on the on the different bushes and areas to see if there might be not a stag or an antler looking out, so that you can see if you can go there for your trophy. Yeah, and then when you're lucky, then you will finally see the ones when they are going out of the bush into the open fields. I mean, this now is like a medium one or a middle age one, where you see he already started to grow some points, but it's still a younger one, because I mean, in New Zealand they can have really big points on the antlers. Yeah, and then if you really finally got to your stack, then you and you can make your shots, then you can also come out with a trophy, like as you can see here. And this is now really a typical New Zealand one, where you really see a lot of points versus what we see in other countries in the world. But later on, we will also show you another one which we could get in New Zealand, which is even much bigger than what you can see here. Only for this stag, we already were hunting 2 days. I mean, we saw him one day at night, so we sneaked there, but unfortunately the wind was not so good. So they smelled us and they were running away. So we had to come back the next day, found them, and we were walking after them for nearly half a day, and they were always trying to sneak out of us, even if they didn't see us, but they really were going away. So we had to went up the hill, down the hill, going to them. And then finally we were lucky, they go down to a valley, and then the colleague was able to really shoot from a smaller distance. Yeah, and then the other opportunity is also for fallow deer. And as you can see here already on the hill in the background, this is a complete different area. I mean, this is now the other side of the island where we have been, and this is an area where we have a lot of rain, and you also see the fog and yeah, low hanging clouds in this area. And this is more like, I would say, like rainforest, so very thick bushes and a lot of green stuff here. And this is where we could find a very good fallow deers here. And in this area you can also see red stag, wapiti, and other game. Yeah, and then last but not least, a small selection of animals which have been shot in New Zealand. So you see here a Nasatar, which was from the area we've seen before. Then a red stag, and here you see also the typical, a lot of points, and then really a monster stag here with I think about 50 points, which is really amazing. But this is something which you normally can only get in New Zealand. I mean, not even in the big fenced areas in Europe you can get something like this. But New Zealand has really huge red stag which you can hunt here. Yeah, with this, I mean, I was happy to present you a little bit our experience, what we've seen in New Zealand. And it's really an amazing country, not only hunting, but you can do so many more. Super nice countryside. You can go fishing and you can go on the beach. So they have really nice spots there. So New Zealand is really worth the travel. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see us again on the next episode.